Hi everyone, special episode today. Exceptionally, today I'm going to talk about two sweaters. What happened, unfortunately, was the previous 8 weekends, 8 out of 12 weekends in the past months were spent on the road for my kids doing their competitions all over the province. So unfortunately, I was unable to record before today. But I'm glad I completed all the sweaters in time and the tests in time. I just unfortunately didn't have time to release at the right moment or at the same time the test came out. So exceptionally, the Game of Croquet by Rachel and Sleed, the Unwind Knitwear. I will talk about this one, which I completed a month ago. I've been in around a month ago. And I'm also going to talk about the Resource Raglan by Sarah, who's coming out today. I'm saying today, for me it's tomorrow, but for you guys it's pretty much now. It's coming out. So I'm going to talk about this one as well. 2 sweaters for the price of 1 today. Enjoy.
Hi everyone. So I've just learned the really great news that I'm test knitting the Game of Crochet sweater by Rachel from Unwind Knitwear. Apologies if I do not pronounce it properly, but Unwind Knitwear, and I'm very happy about it. Which means roll. I need to take my yarn, and my yarn I've chosen for this one is by Emiliecott hand-dyed yarn, her base Sarah, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, a fingering weight yarn, 100 grams, 385 meters. So this is the base I've selected. Now as for colorways, you see the colorway rock or rust or Hui in the very back, and her colorway prego in the front. Now beware, I have bought these yarns in a deep sale, clearance sale, because these yarn had not passed her quality testing. So that's always great news when you buy from a hand dyer. This time is Amelie, that does that check, or that quality check. So something about these skeins was not quite right or not quite to her liking, which means they are offered as a discount. And it also means that whenever you buy from her, you can always expect that consistency in color, because she does this where she does not sell as part of her regular products, I would say, the skins that don't quite comply or are a little bit different. I see this as great news for 2 reasons, and I've explained one. The second one is you get great yarn and try to test, or you get to test a new yarn, just like me. This is my first time working with her yarn for a really great price. So I'm very happy about this. Now my main color will be Prego and my contrast color will be Rust. For Prego, I have 3 skins, and now it's time to decide which skin is going to do what. On my first skin, you can see I have high contrast of the beige here and somewhat not much contrast on the rest of the skin, although a little bit more deeper blue present. On the second skin, I have a very deep contrast on that dark blue here, some contrast with that light beige here, and then the rest is somewhere in the middle, but yet more dark. So this, I would say, is my skin with the highest contrast within it. And then the last one here is a bit more uniform in color, probably closer to what the designer would usually sell for this colorway. This is a guess, as I'm unaware of her normal colorways, but this has got less contrast within it, which means my sweater is a top down, starting with the top being the contrast color, and it's a color work. Now, I personally do not want to see much pooling in my sweater. I prefer when it's not pooling. This sweater is going to have some pooling, that is for sure, because of that contrast, and you're going to see it on my finished project, that is certain. However, we can try and minimize the effect of it as much as we can, and there's a few tricks for that. On the top of the sweater, you have increases, which mean it breaks up the pooling effect. When you have increases, you add more skeins to one row, and you add more yarn, to one row, and then you keep adding more yarn to a row, which means there's a movement in the yarn and it breaks up that pooling effect. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the color work. Now, because I'm going to be alternating skeins, it's not going to show as much on the top if there's spooling than the bottom, which is a normal plain stockinette. That said, I need to put, in order to have less spooling, my deeper skein or my more contrast skein, which is this one, at the very top, and then slowly start blending in this skein, which has a little bit more contrast and which will still have that use or be seen in that portion with the color work, and then finish with my least contrast skein at the bottom on the stockinette part, and then have a little bit less contrast or pooling created there. So this is a plan for these three skeins. Go from higher contrast up the top, benefit from the increases and the color work to sort of hide the highest contrast, and then move to the lower and lower contrast until you've only got stockinette and that more consistent skein in the bottom. So this is what I'm doing, and this are my colors. So I can't wait to see what it's going to look like. You'll see it sooner than I will. For me, it'll be a few weeks, but yeah, I'm quite enthusiastic about this choice.
Hi everyone. So I just finished filming my progress on my wisp tank, and I wanted to use a little bit of my time to do a quick update on this sweater here that I am making. Last we spoke, I think I had explained a bit more about the yarn choice. So I wanted to show you where it's headed. And yep, and here I am. So for the sweater, oh, hey Mike, I have used Emiliecott yarn in the base Sarah, and look how pretty it is starting to look. I'm I'm really happy with the color choices, and so far it looks really great. So I can't wait to see where it's gonna go. But here, this is my progress where I'm at, and I think as I mentioned in the yarn choice, there's a lot of variegation in the pale yarn that you can see um, through that darker yarn. So you have darker blue patches and more of a beige bluey patches at other points. And as I'm knitting it up, it's so much fun. It's always evolving and changing, and that keeps me very. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next, which color I'm going to go next. And for me, I mean, it's very motivating to knit a color like that um, on a sweater. So it's been really fun to knit so far. Um, yeah, so I'm going to keep on going. This is, I've, cast on. I have done uh, my short rows, and I've started the color work, and I have separated for the sleeves. The color work continues on the body, so this is where I'm at. I believe there will be a choice whether I want to extend the color work further or not, versus what was initially proposed. There's some additional additions that are going to be added, which is great, but I think I'm going to stick to the original because I really like what it looks like. But anyways, options to come, and I will let you know more about them later. um, Now I'm just going to go and knit it for a little while, uh, because I really can't wait to see it and wear it. Actually, it's going to be really great to wear this spring. It's spring right now, and it's a really great fabric for this spring. So I'm going to finish it up real quick, and so I can wear it sooner rather than later. Later. Hi, everybody. So I've just talked to you about my wisp tank. I've talked to you about my Game of Crochet tank. And I told you I've got 4 projects on the go, and one is finished, which is a hat and coming out only in the fall. So you'll hear more about that one later. But I have a third sweater that I have been selected for a test. And I am so excited for this one. I mean, it is crazy the variety or where you can go with this pattern. It is wow. Okay, so it's a raglan. It's a raglan sweater, and this is the base of it. Now you can have fun because it has all of the weights available. So you can start from like I think a gauge of 18 going up all the way to a gauge of 24, maybe more. Like I'll check it because I'm not there yet in my progress, but wide variety of knitting sample that you can use. Um, Knitting fibers, the raglan, you can pick any color you want. You can pick any sleeve type you want. The raglan seams, you've got many options, and I mean like 5 or 6 at least. You can pick the length, you can pick anything, and it's a wonderful pattern. I am so excited to get started on this one. And again, you will see the variety of projects coming out of the test knitters, and you will feel like it's 1,000 different patterns, yet it is the same pattern. And everybody has just used different parts of it and to make it their own. Um, yeah, so I'm very excited, as you can tell. I am still trying to decide myself what I want to do with it. I think I'm going to do like a gauge of 18, maybe 20. I'm thinking of using this yarn I've got here. I held double to achieve gauge. If I have more time, maybe held single. I don't know. And go more towards a fingering weight sweater. I don't know yet, but I'm thinking my first original thought is I'm going to hold the yarn double and get a larger sample sweater. But it might still change. I don't know. I think I'll get inspired by other testers that will have started too. As I will have maybe 2.5 weeks. I'll be behind from everybody else, but we've got 8 weeks and plenty of time to make it. Now, colors and yarn. I knew the minute it came out, it's spring. As I said, it's gonna come out near the summer. So I wanted to do a summery version. And I have the perfect yarn for it. This is Emiliecott. I've just talked about her with A Game of Croquet. And now please know it's no sponsorship or anything. I just happen to have her yarn. I've never met her. I've never talked to her. It just so happens that I'm using her yarn for 2 projects in a row. Just wanted to put it out there. It's a complete, coincidence, but it's gonna work great. So that's why I'm picking this one. Emiliecott base Simone. It's a 70% bio wool and 30% linen. So that linen is gonna make it great for summer top. And that's why I'm picking this one. Also because I want to do a lined striped sweater because I've got wonderful colors to use in this yarn. I've got this nice blue, this beautiful like burnt orange. I've got this nice little, I don't know, beige. It's got tiny speckles in it. I think, yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. I think it's going to look great in a striped sweater. So a less uniform sort of yarn. I've got a darker beige. I've got a greeny blue. I've also got, I don't have enough hands. That nice little yellow. So I've got many different options of colors in her yarn. And I'm really looking forward to this one. So yeah, quick introduction to the yarn. And sort of the process of where I am at in this sweater, because it's going to be a gigantic choice over choice over choice over choice over choice. So I think it'll be interesting for you to see me evolving through that process as well. So right now, already in a choice of yarn, not knowing whether I'm holding this double or not, and using it as an 18 gauge or 24 gauge. Yeah, so right there, I've got lots of choices. But yeah, can't wait to see where it takes me. See you later, and hopefully it's what I envision that comes out. But I don't know. Bye. Now, I will start by showing you the result of that blending I was talking to you about with the variegated yarn. But from up front, from up close, I know I previously mentioned it quite often, so I won't spend too much time, but from afar, I don't think you saw as well the effect it would have. So I'm coming up close. You can see here my main color, which is the beige and gray, also with a tint of blue, is very variegated in that first yarn. And you can see that dark blue here and the beige. So some spots are more beige, some spots are more dark blue. And as I move towards the end, I only used 2 balls of yarn for that. But as I walk towards the end, I switched to my non so variegated yarn, and you can see variegation isn't as strong as before. And you can really see it here where we switch one row to the next between the 2 balls. The dark blue here, that's my previous ball blending in, and I'm alternating every row with the new ball of yarn, less variegated yarn in this section here. And you can really tell the difference between that section and the bottom section, which is not created nearly as much pooling as the one above. In fact, you can really see, you can see a small bit of pooling, but it's not very evident. It's just that I have it right in front of you right now. So it worked really well that way. And I'm really happy with the end result of this sweater. And I've covered all I wanted to say about it, really. What's left to say is I love the end result. Full body color work, it's not full body, but going past the sleeve separation color work, I find that so gorgeous. I really like the look of it. So I'm really happy with that. And the sleeves, you know me, my usual modification are 3/4. That's how I like my sleeves, just like this one right here below the elbow. So that's what I've done on this one. And my sister tried it out for me as a model, and I offered it to her because it was suiting her so well. So this one I'm gonna have to say goodbye to. It's going to a separate wardrobe, but it will get worn a lot. What happens over time when you knit in around 15 to 20 sweaters a year is you don't get to wear all of them. And I'm at that point where my wardrobe's pretty full of sweaters. I enjoy all of my sweaters, but can't wear all of them. And when I finish a sweater and my sisters model it and it suits them so well, and I know they'll wear it, they're knit worthy. It's just an easy decision, and I offer it. And this one she jumped on. I think she's really happy to get it. So that makes me really happy, and everybody's happy. So happy all around for this one. So yeah, there it is. A Game of Croquet by Rachel from Unwind Knitwear. Highly recommend. It's beautiful. Go and have fun with a longer color work if you wanted to experiment on that. Now, sweater number 2 for today, and the one coming out just now is the Resource Raglan by Sarah of S.Knits on Instagram. So Sarah, wonderful design. I've previously talked about how versatile it is. I don't want to get too much into it, but it is so versatile, and it's the point of it. So I guess I don't have a choice but to talk about it. And maybe I'll do so by giving you a bit of the process of how I went about knitting mine and the different steps of it, so that you can get an idea of what you could do with yours. Now, start from top and go all the way to the bottom. First step, the collar. And good luck, there's quite a bit of color options out there. Me, I picked a v-neck, and there's 2 options for v-neck. There's an I-cord v-neck, and I picked the ribbing v-neck. Is beautiful. I mean, how pretty is that ribbing v-neck? I'm so happy with it. It sits at the right height. It's not too low, it's not too high. It is just sitting perfect for me or in my liking. So I'm very happy with the v-neck option. So I worked, you work there and back. You work flat up until you join the v-neck in here. and then you start working in the round from here on out. Um, it's a raglan, so second decision, what type of raglan am I going to use? I picked a double raglan, so this is a double raglan. Very simple, instructions given. So it's a very simple option. I wanted the neckline to shine more so than I did the raglan seam. So that's why I opted for something more simple so that it would shine, as well as I wanted something equally thick as the neckline ribbing. So I checked my neckline ribbing and I said, I want something similar in terms of thickness for my seam. And that's how I decided on it, really. But there's many options. You can do puff stitch, you could do cable, you can do double, single, you can do a very thick raglan seams. The options are, again, endless. There is an end to it. There's a limited amount, but I mean, it's a high limited amount of modifications you can do on this sweater. Um, and it keeps on going the more you do. I'm only going to talk about the ones I picked, but it's like a salad fruit full of modifications you can select. Another main thing for me here, the sweater is striped, as you can see, and I went for an eight row stripe throughout the body, with all 7 colors I had shown you previously in my previous video. So as you can see, all 7 colors are here and alternated. After that, you come to the sleeve separation. You have a sleeve decision to make, 3/4, poof. There's a, not poof, but yeah, poof. Well, poofy, balloony sleeves. You can do with a little pincers like this up here, which is so gorgeous too. So that's another option that you have. Long sleeve, many different options for sleeve, and I picked short and simple because as I said earlier, I want a summer sweater, so something that I can wear in very high degree weather. This will do the trick. And you move on to the body, and you can do it cropped. Then you have the ribbing or no ribbing. So the hem in the bottom of the sweater also has many options. You can have a split hem, which is gorgeous. I've seen it on different sweaters. Gorgeous split hem. Um, endless. When I say endless, I mean endless. So yeah, I ended up, just to confirm, previously I spoke that my first choice was going to be to hold my yarn, which is a fingering yarn double, throughout, and use an 18 stitches per 10 centimeter or per 4 inches gauge, and that is exactly what I have done. So I've done my sample and I was really happy with the resulting fabric, so I went ahead and done it. It has linen in it. I knitted it. It did not bother me at all. I think it's because it's got such a lower content of linen. It's only 30%. But it felt great for me. Wearing it feels great. I'm loving the end fabric with this yarn. So it's a good choice all around, and I can't wait to wear it. I haven't worn it yet because I wanted to show it to you blocked and unworn, so it sounds still nice and clean. So here we go. Really happy with the result, and I can't wait to wear it. So I'm also very happy that I've shown it to you now so that I can start wearing it this summer. Yeah, is there anything else? Oh yeah, I always try and give you a technique or something, like some trick I used, or something out of pattern that I use, or well, I've shared many different tricks, tips and tricks with you guys so far. This one's going to be about when you knit flat with stripes and a slip stitch at the beginning of the row. It seems like a lot of information, but if you want to do this version of it, of the sweater like I do, and you want to stripe your v-neck part, you're going to encounter a little bit of a problem when it comes to switching colors. The reason being, and I'm going to show you on this one, say you're on the green, and then you're working in the back coming this way to the end of the green. If you knit that last stitch or purl that last stitch green, what's going to happen when you flip it around and you slip the first stitch on the right side, that slip stitch will be green, but it'll be on the white or first white row. And that is not something that we want. So just be mindful of this when coming back in order to correct that and make it look seamless. What you need to do is you're coming back with the green, and at the very last stitch, instead of purling it with the green, what you're going to do is purl it with the white, the following stitch, so that you've got on your last row, it's green, your last color, green all the way, except for that last stitch, which you're going to do white. So then when you turn it around and you start knitting back or in the right side, the first stitch you're going to slip is that first white stitch that was on the previous row, but it is white. And then you keep with the white on that same row. So tip and trick, be mindful of this whenever you're working flat and you're switching colors. Be mindful that that last, and you're gonna, sorry, in the end, you're gonna slip that first stitch. You will need to be mindful of the color you use on that stitch or that slipped stitch. So keep that in mind. If you see or try and you try and then you don't get quite the result I got, it's probably what happened. The switch of color needs to happen on that last stitch of the previous row. Here we go. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you back soon.